Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Claymore, we got Michael, we got Jesus, we got JD. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all for being here in the chat. Do me a huge favor, smack up the like button. Do it for the algorithm. Let all the Cardinal fans know that we're currently live right now. If this is your first time here, subscribe it up. We're on the road to 16K, and hopefully, by the time this season is over, we hit that 16K mark. So subscribe it up, join the family, and smack the like button if you can do so. We got a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of want to talk about the future. To be honest with you, I want to talk about the future of the Cardinals in terms of like where we are at projected salary cap wise and where we are at right now draft wise. Because I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but we got 4 games left. And I know the players and the coaching staff are saying all the right things, but there's something to be said about you having such a high, right? Such hope at one point, and it comes crashing down with 4 games left. And I don't know, you almost kind of feel like, okay, well, I mean, well, what now, right? What now? Now, can the Cardinals still technically win games? Yes, of course. They can be a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 win team if you want to be bold like that. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think it just, I don't know. The season feels very, very out of reach at this very moment. Now, can I be wrong? Yeah, absolutely. I can be wrong. But right now, it definitely feels like the fork is stuck within the Arizona Cardinals, and it seems like we're a little bit done. But of course, we're going to continue to cover the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to continue to talk about Jonathan Gannon and how he felt about the Seattle Seahawks game. And then we're going to go ahead and save the second portion of the show for the future, right? What the future is going to hold here for the Cardinals, and we'll talk about it that way. So let's talk about Jonathan Gannon here real quick. Actually, first things first, let me do a real quick shout out here to BetUS, which is the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. It's going to be BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. That's going to be using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. Of course, bet responsibly and bet within your means. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and dive right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about Jonathan Gannon's thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks. A lot to go ahead and dive into. He was on a presser yesterday, speaking all things Cardinals, what he felt like happened in this game. We're going to be reacting to that. And then we also got a clip here from Mack Wilson Sr. He actually did speak after the Arizona Cardinals lost to the Seahawks on Sunday. And honestly, I kind of feel like Mack Wilson is he's really the real one, man. I would love to see a little bit more emotion with our coaching staff right now. We're not seeing it. Now I get it. They're trying to build this culture and make sure that everybody is staying on the clear path, right? Everybody's staying on the right trajectory to hopefully finish this season strong, because at the end of the day, there's a difference between 6 wins ending the season, 7 wins ending the season, or potentially 8 wins leaving the season, right? So this coaching staff is doing everything in their power to make sure that these guys, players, stay motivated to win games, right? At the end of the day. So let's dive right into, let's first start off with Mack Wilson Sr. And his comments on what happened in the Seattle Seahawks game. And like I said, man, Mack Wilson Sr. Is probably like, I don't know, I feel like he's one of the real ones, man. Let's dive in what he had to say about this game. And I believe the media ended up asking him about, apparently the media ended up seeing players talk to each other, right? And they were asking exactly like, what were you guys were talking about? You know, was there plays to be left out on the field? And this is what Mack Wilson Sr. had to say about those conversations.
I'm sure it was just conversations about what we could have done better. You know, I'm sure I was talking to a lot of guys. You know, some plays out there I wish I could have back. I'm sure some plays out there, some of the offensive guys which they can have back. So it's more so of that. We're gonna stay connected as a team because that's who we are, and we're just gonna keep working.
What has gone wrong these past 3 games?
I don't really know. You got to watch the film and judge that yourself. Some things obviously we all got to work on. Offense, defense, special teams. But we just got to keep working. At the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. Keep working, keep your head up, and just keep grinding it out.
See, Mac Wilson Sr. saying all the right things. Media ends up asking him, "What do you think went wrong?" Right? And he was like, "Psh, you got to look at the film, right? You got to look at the film and make the decision yourself." Pretty much interpretation to look at the film and see what your guys' thoughts are, right? Because he was like, "I don't know, right? I don't know." I think obviously the players know, they know internally the meetings that they're having. I don't think these meetings are consists of let's watch the film and let's try to find out who the corporate is in terms of why we are losing these games and why we're on a 3-game losing streak, right? I don't think that's what these meetings are consistent of. These meetings are meant to be productive. Not granted, I'm not in these meetings. I'm only assuming just because of the way the culture is being established by Jonathan Gannon and the rest of his coaching staff. They're not throwing anybody under the bus. And even when Drew Petzing spoke about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think the media ended up asking him, like, what's his coaching style, right? And the way he described it was basically like when you're watching the film, right? You're looking for opportunities and feedback and try to do, you know, try to learn something, right? Every single play. So this coaching staff's definitely not one of those, unless it happens behind closed doors. But my impersonation of them is not. I don't think there's pointing of the fingers going on. I just think that there's learning opportunities, and there's some benefits that go along with that as well. But per Mac Wilson Sr., right? At least in this clip, he says he doesn't know. He doesn't know. You got to look at the film now. I've been watching a lot of games just because I have the NFL Plus, which gives you the access to the All 22. It's an accumulation of a lot of different things in terms of like just the uncoordination of this offense in general, right? Just the clunkiness of this offense in general. There's just a lot of things that need to be fixed, and it's crazy because you're sitting at heading into week 15, and we're still dealing with the same things over and over again. Now, I was hoping that we were going to stop having these conversations by week 5 or week 6 or heck even week 7. But no, I mean the proof of the pudding is that this offense just can't get it right. Whether it's the penalties that are being called back with a holding call, whether it is the Cardinals don't really have anything in their playbook or trust anything in their playbook to throw the ball beyond the sticks, especially if they're playing behind the chains. First and 20, second and 20, right? Things that when things go bad, things go really bad for the Arizona Cardinals. One thing that I haven't heard the media end up asking the Arizona Cardinals is when we are playing behind the sticks, yes, we're a run heavy team, but like there's really no sense of confidence within the play calls or just the plays that are being established or trying to be executed that we're going to somehow try to convert that first and 19, that first and 20, right? It almost kind of seems like it's very obvious. We have a dump off play, which most likely is that third down, or maybe a run play getting thrown in there's no feeling of confidence that the Cardinals are going to be able to recover from that big blow of a holding call, right? So that's one thing I would love to hear, Jonathan Gannon or maybe Drew Petzing as to why we're not even trying to convert that, that get that big chunk right back. It almost kind of seems like when that happens, we break off a big run and, hey, we got lucky on there. But that kind of seems to be the stigma around this offense. If you beat yourself, it's hard to get back. It really is because we're not throwing the ball beyond the sticks. Everything is short. Everything is a run play. You're going to have a run design there somewhere. You're going to have a run play on the second down. You're going to have a dump off on third and long. And then in that very first play, the first and 20, it's a very questionable call or potentially an incompletion. So it's one of those things where, like I said, I was hoping that the offense were going to be able to get it fixed at this point in the season. But they're not. They're not, right? Mac Wilson Sr. said that at the end of the day, they just got to look at the film and get better, right? That's all you can do. Get better. Try to get better every single week. But we're kind of hearing the same song and dance. And I'm not saying from Mac Wilson Sr., but I'm talking about as a whole from this team, right? And that's everybody at the podium. We just need to learn from the tape and get better and better and better. And it seems like the Cardinals are going the opposite way and not getting better and better and better, but actually regressing, which is very, very unfortunate. But we got 4 games left. Let's see how the Arizona Cardinals offense play this out, and hopefully they can get some sort of momentum heading into 2025. Now, let's talk about Jonathan Gannon. He was speaking about, obviously, our quarterback and what he saw in this game. A couple different clips I want to kind of dive into. One of them is going to be about that second interception. Now, I was one of the first to say, well, not one of the first, but I was one of those guys that say that second interception that our franchise quarterback ended up throwing. I thought that was a really good read. I really did. Now, a split-second decision faster would have been a better read or better decision. And even the throw would have been a better decision too. So let's listen into what Jonathan Gannon had to say about that second interception from our franchise quarterback.
Kyler's first interception. What about his second interception? What should have happened on that play?
He could. Well, we had to hold on that play too, but I actually think they busted the coverage, and he saw him late, wide open, and he just got to put a better ball on him, flatten him.
So, agree. I think that the Arizona Cardinals have plays to be made, especially with those busted coverages, right? When you could potentially see a wide open wide receiver, you got to hit that target, right? You got to hit the target. But just like Jonathan Gannon said, great decision. Needs to be a better ball being delivered to Marvin Harrison Jr. there. Let's talk about Jonathan Gannon on how Kyler Murray was answering the media on Sunday about it's all on me, right? Because there were some media members that were trying to kind of not so much push back, but get a little bit more details as to what exactly he saw. And he pretty much shut it down and said, it's all me. You could just put it all on me, right? And this is what Jonathan Gannon had to say about that.
When he was asked about the picks, he just says they're on me. He wouldn't talk about others' roles in the picks. What does that say about him that you kind of just shoulder?
Yeah, that's how he is, Whether they were or they weren't, he's always going to take the arrow in the forehead. That's who he is as a competitor.
Arrow in the forehead, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I just arrow in the forehead. Regardless if it's his fault or not, he's always going to take the blame, which he has. Absolutely. Our franchise quarterback has taken the blame, whether it was his fault in his decision or the coaching staff, or it is or it isn't. He is usually the one to take the blame for that. Now, a good question was asked about how do you pick up Kyler Murray? Because Kyler Murray was very, very down on himself. He said that he felt like he, let this team down, right? And for the most part, I think the fan base can agree that he let us down. But I'm curious to figure out how Jonathan Gannon can say, what he can do to help out, pick up his franchise quarterback. And this is what he had to say about that.
Who was into kind of picking him up?
What he's probably talking about is the 2 picks, right? I would say that he battled, man, and he brought us back and made it a football game even after being in the hole that we were. But, that's life. Heavy as the crown, I tell him. You know what I mean? He gets a lot of blame and he gets a lot of praise too. That's life in the National Football League as the franchise quarterback, But I was proud of him how he battled, but he'll put all his energy and focus into playing better, playing his brand of ball, which I know and he knows that's what wins. So I look forward to him having a good week and he'll bounce back.
So on paper, obviously, when you're looking at this Arizona Cardinal team as a whole, it definitely seems like this coaching staff has the back of their franchise quarterback, right, in Kyler Murray. Now, whether you agree that he is the franchise or he's not the franchise, I think right now, if we look at the contract from Kyler Murray, it would be very, very hard to move off of him, right? Now, I'm not saying we need to. My stance was we just need to try to find a solution because I do not think next year is going to be as optimistic as most people think. Now, I was right on the Cliff Kingsbury thing, right? I remember very specifically, I brought in a fan that was very, very pro Cliff Kingsbury, but when I asked him, what do you like about Cliff Kingsbury exactly? there really wasn't a specific response as to it, right? It all kind of went back to progress, right? Progress. The Cardinals are making the progressive steps. Now, keep in mind, this was after the blowout loss in the playoffs where the Cardinals didn't look to be, should be on the same field with the Rams, right? This is kind of the same feeling that I'm feeling then, like I felt then with Cliff Kingsbury in the fourth year, right? Now, Cliff Kingsbury is looking to be a guru again, right? He might be another hot commodity when it comes down to the head coaching role until I see him be a very, very good head coach, not an offensive coordinator, but head coach. I think the Cardinals made a right decision. I think at the end of the day, Cliff Kingsbury was way in over his head. He had a quarterback that didn't really believe in the play calls. There was a bad bickering match between Cliff and Kyler on that Monday Night Football. I know it was prime time. On that primetime game where Kyler Murray yells at Cliff Kingsbury, at the end of the day, you got to make a decision, right? The front office, the owners, they had to make a decision. And because usually when you have a player under much more money than you are a head coach, it's easier to move off of a head coach than it is a player, right? So the Cardinals had to make a decision. They chose their franchise quarterback, and now we're seeing Cliff Kingsbury have success with the Commanders. Now, I'm not going to come out here and say, "Oh, that was a mistake." I think it was a good thing to back your franchise, but now we're sitting here fast forward, right? Years later, and we're still kind of dealing with another potential, and I'm saying potential because it's not over yet, potential late season collapse here for the Cardinals. Now, can they win the next two games? Potentially, right? Potentially. Until the Cardinals can prove that they can come back and win the games that they're supposed to and not get blown out and not look clunky offensively. I don't know. I feel like my standards might be a little higher. Now, it's crazy, right? Because last week I was talking about, yeah, eight wins will get me happy, right? 8 wins will get me excited about the 2025 season. But I also wasn't expecting to get blown out by the Seattle Seahawks. And I know you're going to be looking at the score and say, oh, they didn't get blown out. The Cardinals never felt like they were going to win that game or even come back, regardless of what JG or regardless of your franchise quarterback had to say. There never was a thought in my mind that I felt like we were ever going to come back in that game, ever. Especially with going into that hole as bad as we did, right? So I feel like we got blown up in that game versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now that puts 3 games the Cardinals got blown out on. Seahawks, as well as the Packers, and then the Commanders, right? Had some losses here and there. 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, close games. We also won games that are 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, close games, right? So on the other side of the coin, we are 6-7 right now. You got some games coming our way with the Patriots, which on paper, you should win. But like I said before, I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I don't know if we're going to have to depend on our defense. We'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. The defense of the Patriots are not bad. They're not a bad team at all. They're not bad. And then on the other side of the coin, you got the Panthers, which seems to always have our number. The Panthers always have our number, except for the last time we met. So I'm curious to figure out how the Cardinals are going to be able to decipher through those 2 games. And then, of course, you got the 2 division matchups at the end of the season. So can the Cardinals be a 6-win, 7-win, 8-win, 9-win, or 10-win team? Yes. On paper, mathematically, yes, they can be every single one of those things. It's just confidence, right? Confidence. Does this team have the confidence? Does this team have the confidence to come out here and try to put up another win streak? Because what's more important to me right now, I don't even think it's the win-loss record. Now, of course, it is important. I'm not saying that. But I think what's more important is for the Cardinals to be in every single one of these games and stop getting blown out. That this offense actually can be efficient, right? I feel like I'm looking at that a lot more. Now, of course, I'm not saying, oh, I'm okay with 6 wins as long as, we stay competitive. No, I'm not saying that. The wins are important as well, but you also need to be competitive in these games. I'm tired of seeing these blowouts. I really am. I think the Cardinals are a better team than that. I feel like they're beating themselves up with a lot of penalties, a lot of decision making that is happening here, regardless of it's whoever you think is to blame, right? Things need to get cleaned up. Just like Mac Wilson Sr. said, the most important thing right now, watch the film, get better, and learn from the mistakes. It's all you can do because there's enough blame to go around, whether it's special teams, defensively, or offensively. But right now, For the people out there that think that Kyler might be on the hot seat or you want to get Kyler out, right now, it seems like everything that Jonathan Gannon is saying, and here's the thing, he's got a really good poker face. He has got a really good poker face. Unless he's actually feeling something that he's not providing to us, I don't know. It almost kind of feels like we're going to be rolling right back in 2025 with a guy that has never won his division, that has never been consistent, that has never won us a playoff game, one playoff game. It seems like that might be the trend the Cardinals are going with, right? Because I know we're going to be leaning on progress, right? We're going to be leaning on progress. Now, I ended up asking you guys here in the community tab about, I'm going to keep calling him franchise quarterback. I'm going to stop calling him by his name. Or let's just call him quarterback. I ended up asking you guys in the chat how you feel about the current state of the quarterback. And I gave you these options. I was actually very shocked that most people have actually chosen Kyler Murray is still my QB. Now, not mad at it. I understand it. I get that there's a portion of the fan base that almost doesn't want to say anything negative because they almost kind of feel like they might be seen as a bad fan. I don't think that, but guess what? This channel was based off of basically very, very opinionated topics, right? Very, very opinionating conversations back and forth, right? Now, 46% says still my QB, put a heart there. And then 33% says we're stuck with them. So basically acknowledging the fact that you might want to move off, but you kind of feel like you just can't anyways. And then you got those other options on the bottom, which is 16% draft the QB fast, and then 5 other. And we had a lot of comments on the bottom. So if you guys haven't already checked out the community tab on the YouTube page, make sure you go and check out the comments on there because there's a lot of good topics. There's a lot of good conversations about how people are feeling right now with the current state of the Arizona Cardinals. But like I said before, hearing Jonathan Gannon in all these clips, right, it almost kind of seems like it's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about the future, right? Let's talk about the future here of the Cardinals because with what we can accomplish in this year, it's not going to be playoffs. We know that. Well, at least there's the chances are very, very small. But the margin is very, very thin right now when it comes down to playoffs. So I'm not even going to mention playoffs anymore. Or if anybody in the comments say playoffs, I'm just going to say playoffs? You're talking about playoffs? Right? That's probably how I'm going to respond. I'm going to get that little soundbite and keep playing it, whoever says playoffs here in the comments. But it almost kind of feels like we're just trying to keep our head above water, right? That's what it feels like right now. You got 2 games coming our way that are on paper winnable. Got the Patriots, which are rebuilding, but they got a young quarterback in Drake May right now that hasn't played every single game, but I mean he's looked pretty decent, right? I mean I haven't watched a lot of a Patriots game myself, so it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, he's looking either good or bad, right? But as of right now, Drake May has 1,696 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. So, I mean, bumps and bruises, right? You're going to go through some bumps and bruises here. Obviously, we all know Jaden Daniels is really, really overall exceeding in terms of being a rookie. Bo Nix is overall exceeding in terms of being a rookie and what he's accomplished so far in this small sample size with his rookie career. But where the Cardinals are at right now, we are projected to have, this is over the cap, right? I want everybody to keep in mind, this is per over the cap. Right now, the Arizona Cardinals are projected to have upwards of about $106 million in cap space in 2025. Of course, please keep in mind that's not including if you want to potentially jump on the opportunity to extend Trey McBride or maybe even Budda Baker. If this front office doesn't bring back Budda Baker, there's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered with the idea of why haven't you or thought about or decided to bring back Budda Baker. Now, of course, it does take two parties to tango, but in the end of the day, Budda Baker has always been your best player on the defense, and it's not even close. In this last game versus the Seattle Seahawks, although, of course, like I said before, and some people might not agree with me, but I feel like we got blown out in that game. Budda Baker alone, player stats-wise, had an amazing, where's the defense? 18 sacks. I'm sorry, wow. Let me rephrase that back. 18 tackles in 10 assists. My God, 18 sacks would be crazy. No, I did not mean that. I'm sorry. He had 8 tackles, 10 assists. Buda Baker's everywhere, man. Buda Baker's all over the field right now. He is doing wonders. And I don't know. I feel like the second guessing or the questioning for Monty Ossenfort, if they don't bring him back, is going to be very, very telling to see what the Cardinals are going to do moving forward. But let me get to my guy Arturo with the super chat. What's up, man? He says this franchise has led Kyler Murray down the. This franchise has lead K1. Has let Kyler Murray down the first 5 years. Is what you're saying? Let me see here. Where is maybe you correct yourself? Are you saying that they let him down? If you can get clarification, Arturo, I would love to get a clarification. But right now it reads, this franchise has led Kyler Murray down the first 5 years. I think you're saying, like, they let him down, you're saying, right? I don't agree, personally, but I understand where you're coming from. What's up, Ivan? Ivan says, 2 months, this was a rebuilding year. Yeah, true. But that doesn't mean if the Cardinals only won 6-7 games, regardless of the 4-game winning streak, I think people would still be judging it as is, or at least I would think so, right? Because regardless, you still need to win games if you have a franchise quarterback, right? So I do agree with you in a sense where, 2 months ago we were, but here's the thing. I've never really said, well, I guess I can't, I could, I guess I did, but that doesn't mean we can't win games, right? 8 wins, still attainable, but still, it does kind of feel like you said, right? Hope is a terrible thing, man. It was fool's gold at the end of the day. It was fool's gold. Arturo says yes. Okay, so you're saying that this organization let him down. I don't know. I don't agree with that personally, but I appreciate the super chat, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, going back to Buda Baker, you got to pay him, man. You got to bring him back. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Where the Cardinals stand right now in draft position. And yes, I'm talking about draft position right now. Don't take this away from me. I'm talking about draft position right now. That's where I'm at right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about draft position. Right now, the Cardinals are sitting at the 16th overall pick in the NFL draft. A couple players that you can potentially go after. Edge, I'm always thinking of edge. Always thinking of edge. We need to shore up that defensive line, and there's no doubt in my mind that I feel like the Cardinals need to go that route. Now, who you're asking, right? It seems like when you're looking at these mock drafts, right, and you never know, you could have a player go really, really high that you wanted to drop to number 16, but a couple players that are kind of within this realm, Nick Scorton, Mikael Williams, and then James Pierce Jr. Those are the two guys that are kind of always floating around the 15, 16, 17, 18 mark when it comes down to the edge players. So I'm still in the stance of potentially shoring it up, but it also kind of really depends on what happens with the Arizona Cardinals in free agency as well, right? If you got over $100 million to spend, I feel like the top of mind, the Cardinals need to bring in some defensive help. We need to. Now, yes, we're going to have Justin Jones back, Bilal Nichols back, but even when we saw them in the sample size that we saw them, I don't know. I mean, they were okay. They were there, right? They were meh, right? I mean, I could be wrong. They could have a completely crazy second year for the Cardinals if they can stay healthy. But I don't know. So far, the free agency classes of Monty Ossenfort have only really amounted to Kazir White and Mack Wilson Sr. That's kind of it for me. Everybody else says, okay, cool. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Jonathan. What's up, Jonathan? Appreciate you, man. He says this, let's relax. This is only year 2 of what was thought to be a 2 to 3 year rebuild. We're already doing better than what we thought we would be doing. A lot of positivity here in the chat. Love it. Cool. Here's the thing. And that's the thing. I think the Cardinals will never, ever be consistent because we allow them to not be. Or let me rephrase that. We allow them to, we don't have a high standard, is what we're trying to say. We don't have a high standard, ever. And it really just kind of depends, right? I'm a completely different fan than most people are, and that's the truth. And when you're talking about different fandoms, I'm the one that's like, oh my God, we're never. So I'm an overdramatic fan. So please keep that in mind as well, right? We all fan differently. You can sleep better at night. say, "Oh man, we were so close. What a good game." Me, I have a hard time sleeping. That's just my mental health. That's just my mental state. I can't get this team out of my head, and that's a sickness on my own behalf that I got to fix out, right? I am tired of always thinking this way. Truthfully, I hate the fact that we're always thinking like this. Now, no hate to my guy Jonathan. He knows he's a real one, as well as Ivan and everybody else who is, you know, been positive in the chat. You guys are the real ones. No negativity toward. I just hate that we're always thinking this way. When is it over? When is enough enough? Right? When is enough enough? When can we finally get it right? When? Because every single time, and I've been doing this channel for what, 6 years now? Since 2000? Yeah, well, when Kyler Murray started being the QB, or when he got drafted, that same year is when I actually started this channel. So 6 years. So his current state at being a QB is how long this channel is. Coincidence? Maybe. Or it's just I finally got the guts to do it, right? Just finally got the braveness and guts to do it, and finally got the okay from my wife to be able to talk to a camera. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is I understand the positive side of it, right? And here's the thing. Every time I'm on the NFC West roundtable, which is going to happen tonight, and here's the thing. Every single one of those guys on those roundtables, every single one of them, they say the same thing. Oh, man, you guys are making the right progressive steps. You guys are doing good, right? But you hear goodness. You hear positivity. I hear, oh, look at you. Look at you, little brother. Look at you guys try to do something. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Or when we're actually leading the division, nobody has the confidence that we're actually going to keep it. Nobody has the confidence. And I'm not talking about the bird game. I'm talking about everybody outside. They're like, oh, good try, right? Good try. You thought you had it, right? It's like that little fishing pole. Like, oh, you almost got it. You're almost there. You're almost there, right? So I love the positivity and where you guys are coming from. But when is enough enough, right? When is enough enough? When can we finally sit back and say, man, we got to start giving something, right? We got to start putting this organization on a higher standard. When? We haven't seen a consistent team for the Arizona Cardinals in years. Why the confidence? Why? What changes between year 6 of Kyler to year 7 of Kyler? What changes? Decision making? Better weapons? Better offensive line? Keep in mind that Kyler Murray, for the most part of the year, has actually been not very much under pressure. Against Seattle, Seattle's a really good front four. They're a dynamite front. And of course, Leonard Williams is really good as well, and he started to get going at the end. But when is enough enough? When is enough enough? When can we start actually putting a fire under this organization and tell them, hey, no, I wish we were like the Boston market. I really do. I really wish we were a different market right now that can actually hold this team accountable, because everybody's talking about progress and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, bro. I'm so sick of it. Because I promise you, if it happens again next year, what are we going to talk about? Oh, then let's go back into the drawing board, because we never have a plan. It's so frustrating. We never have a plan for the future. It's always now. Man, if I was only a general manager of this damn organization, I would do things much differently. And here's the thing. I'm not judging Monty Awesome for it, but so far his free agency classes have not looked good. Just going to put that out there right now. I'm not judging him. I'm not calling for his job. I'm not saying he's Steve Keim. No, I think he's done really good drafting, but I just do not think trading, nothing has excited me about what he's done. And on top of that, free agency classes haven't looked very good either. Arturo, what's up, man? He says, we had a general manager that couldn't draft to save his life. True. But now we're on the opposite side of the coin, I feel like. Now we're on the opposite side of the coin. Now we got a general manager that can't really seem to get the right draft or the free agency class or the free agency picks. That's what it kind of feels like. Now, he could prove us wrong in year 3. True, we're going to have $100 million to spend, right? We're going to have a lot of money to spend. But every single time in free agency, it feels like all the guys that we brought in, one of them are the ones that work out for us. Because even Zay Jones, and here's the thing, it's not Zay Jones' fault that Kyler Murray's not throwing on the ball, right? It's not his fault. Now, he did have a 5-game suspension as well to start the season. So it's not his fault. He didn't get acclimated. You know what I'm trying to say? He didn't get accustomed to this offense, right? And of course, it's taking 15 weeks, and Kyler Murray still doesn't have a connection with with Marvin. So it's hard to even say a fourth wide receiver. Why can't we get him involved when we already have bigger issues with K1 can't connect with MHJ, right? So I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of the excuses. I really am. Jonathan coming up. What's up, Jonathan? He says, just saying that if next year is more of the same, I might be just like, no. And here, no, I agree, John. No, like I said, brother, like there's no disrespect at all. And you're the real ones, man. You've been here since about a couple years now, and I'm not trying to lash out. I'm frustrated with the organization in general, not towards you. I appreciate you, man, every single time. Thank you so much. Continue to DM me. We're still cool. I don't want anybody to feel any type of way. I'm just kind of keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is my therapy. This is my you guys are my therapy, and I'm probably yours, right? I'm just tired. I'm tired of the constant let's wait and see. Why can't we ever figure it out? And honestly, there was a little hope. There was such a little glimmer of hope this year. And blame it on us, right? Blame it on us that we actually felt like we had something. Blame it on me too. I might have hyped it up a little bit too much. Man, we're 6-4. We're in the top of the division talking all this smack. And of course, right back down to reality because in the big games, we just can't seem to win those big games. Whoever's to blame. Whoever. I don't care who's to blame. We just can't seem to win it as an organization, and it's very, very unfortunate. Next year, if it's not Super Bowl or bust, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. If it's not Super Bowl or bust, and let's be honest, we're probably not going to win the Super Bowl next year. We're probably not. If it's not Super Bowl or bust next year, I don't want to hear it. Excuses need to run out. It somehow or another, they need to be gone. We need to have a higher standard for this organization. It's probably why we keep getting overrun. Every single fan base is so much better than our fan base because we just don't care. We don't have the, I don't know. So right now, draft position, the Cardinals are the 16th overall right now. That's where we are at. Projectedly, a lot of people are projected to come to us in terms of every mock draft that I'm seeing is an edge player. If not an edge player, a defensive lineman. So I'm curious to figure out how BJ Ojulari is going to look like. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And then Darius Robinson is going to come into his second year as well. So hopefully we can start seeing a little bit more production of Darius because Darius Robinson was MIA in this last game. He really didn't do very much, but at the end of the coin, right, just kind of like I'm not holding MHJ to a high standard in terms of I'm not judging him in his year one, just like I didn't judge Monty in his year one. I'm not going to judge Darius Robinson. I want to see what a year two under his belt and actually healthy from the beginning of the season and actually giving us a big sample size to see what he can do. So let's see. I mean, a lot of promise, right? But at the end of the day, let me ask you guys a serious question. Do you guys truly feel like Super Bowl is attainable next year? Do you guys think Super Bowl is attainable? Or not even Super Bowl? Hell, let's reach small. Let's reach small, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think we can win the division? I guess that should be a lot more attainable, right? It's still Super Bowl bust for me. It is, but I'm asking you guys, do you think the division is attainable next year, right? Let's say we bring back Kyler Murray, which we most likely will because his contract is going to be ridiculous to be moved off of. So we bring him back. We bring weapons to help him out, right? Either offensive line, defensive line, shore up the defense. Do you guys think NFC West is going to be attainable next year, right? Now, I think there's a lot of things to be said about this. The 49ers are not going to have a year like they're having this year. I believe that. I really do. I don't think the 49ers are going to have a year like they're having this year. Now, is Matthew Stafford coming back or not? Most likely, probably yes. If he decides to retire and hang it up, then hallelujah for the Cardinals, right? But we're always going to have to deal with the Seattle Seahawks never having a down year. Never. We're never going to have a down year. They're never going to, ever. Culturally, they don't. Even in the last year of Pete Carroll, they still had a really good record. They just left them. They said, deuces, we're going to get Mike McDonald. And look, they're 8-5. 8-5. That's 4 more wins. That's 4 more wins that the Cardinals had in year one of Jonathan Gannon. How does that not make you mad? How does that not piss you off? I don't understand. That's the thing. Like, see, progress is important, and it's the truth. Progress is important, but how does this not make you upset, right? How does this not make you arg, right? How? Year one of Mike McDonald in the Seattle Seahawks, he's 8-5. That's 4 more wins, and he's on top of the division. I miss Bruce Arians. I miss Bruce Arians, man. I really do. Bruce Arians. Oh my God, my favorite coach. The best coach we've ever freaking had, and we ran him out of Arizona. Biggest mistake the Cardinals probably could have done. Got rid of Bruce Arians. Very unfortunate. So, back to the question, do you think we can win the division? Do you? Do you think we can win the division? We got my guy Alex saying nope. We got my guy Robert saying maybe the division. Jesus says no. Claymore says no. Uncanny says no. Brandon says with K1, we'll never win the division. So, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, and here's the thing. I don't want to be seen as the channel that is always negative, right? But for the most part, I mean, I'm wrong sometimes, right? But when you get a feeling, man, we're all expecting to take the next step next year, right? We're all expecting to take the next step next year. How do we know that this division is going to be weak next year? How do we know? Geno Smith doesn't lose in the Seattle Seahawks uniform. I don't know what the heck it is. What's in the water in Seattle, right? What's in the water? If Matthew Stafford has all his weapons, that team looks very good. Did you see what they did to the Bills? If the 49ers can stay healthy, they're probably going to pay Brock Purdy, right? They're going to probably pay. So now we got another juggernaut with everybody being able to stay healthy. How do we have the confidence that we're going to win the division? That might be our ticket to the playoffs because next year is playoff or bust. So to some people, Super Bowl or bust. We're going to waste another year with a guy that probably everybody in the chat, not everybody, but most people don't have confidence that he can win. Nobody. This is Jonathan Gannon on Kyler Murray's second interception.
Talked after the game about Kyler's first interception. What about his second interception? What should have happened on that play?
He could. Well, we had to hold on that play too, but I actually think they busted the coverage, and he saw him late wide open, and he's got to put a better ball on him, flatten him.
Got to put a better ball on him, and not just that. It's the same things that we're seeing over and over again. I'm not trying to be negative, Nancy, but I want to be realistic here. I want everybody to realize that it's not just always going to be this year. Why we are where we are at is probably because the 49ers, how do we win the 49ers? They didn't have their kicker. We might have got lucky on that game. Tua came back in his first game. And yes, a win's a win's a win. But are we going to continue to be this lucky? Are we? This division has always been known as one of the best divisions of football. Guess what? Everybody had injuries. Everybody had injuries but us. The big injuries, right? Of course, Darius Robinson, but Darius Robinson's a rookie, right? He's not a big, impactful player because he's a rookie at the end of the day. Are we going to be able to come back to this state with a guy that hasn't won us the division? And that's the thing. We're always focusing on progress. We're always focusing on, this is year 2. We're only expecting 6 wins. Okay, well, what happens if we get 6 wins again next year, right? Blow it up again. There's another wasted year for what? For what? I'm not saying don't be positive about your team, but I don't get the overall positivity. I really don't. I really don't get the overall positivity. You beat the what is it called? What's the team? The Patriots. All right, we beat the Patriots. Cool. You beat the Panthers. Okay, cool. The teams that you should be beating, you're not. We beat the 49ers. I guess that's cool. We wiped the floor with the Rams when they were injured. I guess that's cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Emmanuel, what's up, Emmanuel? What's up, Jake Plummer? What's Jake Plummer doing now? And I think Jake Plummer's like, oh, he's old. He's old. He ain't gonna be suiting up for the Cardinals, but I guess that makes sense. We are pretty much a retired house. That's where everybody comes here to retire. So I guess that makes sense. Wolfpack in the chat says, when is Kyler Murray's contract up again? Kyler Murray right now is under contract with the Arizona Cardinals until 2028. But Kyler Murray's guaranteed salary ends next year in 2025. He's got a guaranteed salary of $29.9 million in 2025. 2026, there's no guaranteed salary after that. So 2025, and like what I've been saying, it's most likely going to be the Kyler Murray show, right? Most likely is. I want a contingency plan. Call me crazy. I want a contingency plan. What's up, Andrew? Sad we need the division to be bad to believe. You kind of do. You do. You do. You need to, you kind of need to. I mean, do you think that, so we kind of got lucky. I'm not going to lie. We kind of got lucky. The Rams were absolutely obliterated in the beginning of the season. They were obliterated. They didn't have Puka. They didn't have Cooper Kupp for a good amount of time. They were obliterated, man. They were still winning games here and there, but not as consistent as what they did to the Bills, right? The 49ers, every week there was an injury. The Seahawks, they went through some bumps and bruises, but they just don't lose. They don't lose. They're like that freaking superhuman robot that just outlasts every human out there. The Seahawks don't lose. I don't get it. They should be going through a rebuilding year. Why don't they have a rebuilding year like us? I don't understand it. I don't get it. 23K5 says Buda Baker will not retire as a Cardinal. He is most likely will leave next year and try to win a Super Bowl. If you want me to come on to the show, then let's do it. Honestly, 23K5, this doesn't even sound like too much of a, like, I could probably agree. Here's the thing. Buda Baker, we want him back. Of course. We all want him back. If he doesn't decide to come back, it's two reasons why Buda Baker doesn't come back. A, he's either getting offered a lot more money somewhere else, or B, he wants to win something that he probably doesn't think he can win here. Those are the two reasons why we probably will not bring Buda Baker back. Somebody offers them more money, and at this point, with $100 million, why aren't you the highest offer? Cardinals, I'm looking at you. Cardinals. With $100 million, I'm not saying throw $100 million at Buda Baker. But of course, what I'm saying is, if you can bring him back, bring him back. He's the best defensive player you have on this team. So if he doesn't come back, two of the reasons as to why. He got the bag somewhere else, or B, he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe in a potential championship in this team. But of course, here we go. Year two, it's a rebuild. It's always going to be a rebuild. It always is. It's always going to be a rebuild. I started this channel 6 years ago, and guess what? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. It's the same things over and over and over again. And I want to tell you that I'm wrong. I do. And I'm tired of being pessimistic. But by the time this year, around this time, you're either a team that's going to be good, or you're not, or you're just a pretender. The Cardinals right now are pretenders. They were 6-4 with 3 games of an opportunity to stay within this division, and they flunked it. They pooped. They SHIT their pants. They couldn't do it. But year 2 rebuild, right? Year 2. It's always going to be like that. Next year, it's going to be another excuse. Next year, it's going to be another excuse. Oh, now, Archie Manning. Come on in, Archie. It's always going to be something, man. It really is. Bookmark this, ladies and gentlemen. It's always going to be something. Year 1, year 2. If something happens to Kyler Murray, it's always going to be something. With what we know in the sample size, that what we've seen, confidence, I don't got it. I don't got the hope. Can we still win 7-8 games? Yes, we can. But if we get blown out in those division games, every single year you suit up to win a Super Bowl. Every single year. That's the goal. That's the forget about. That's the goal. Every single year is Super Bowl. Now, of course, the Cardinals are never in that conversation, ever, because we're always rebuilding. Always. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they can change my mind. Let's see. 23K5 says Patrick Peterson wanted to be back as a Cardinal, but Steve Keim didn't offer him a contract and ghosted him. Yeah, no, I remember that. Patrick Peterson was also declining too in his play as well. In that last year, Patrick Peterson was declining. It was unfortunate that the relationship soured to the point that it soured the way that it did. Very, very unfortunate that it got to that point, because I still do think Patrick Peterson's one of the best draft picks the Cardinals have ever done in an Arizona tenure. One of the best cornerbacks we've ever had, right? But I don't blame Steve Keim for not bringing him back. I don't like the way that it happened, right? I don't like that there was no communication in the ghosting. I hate that. I don't like that part of the business. But Patrick Peterson was declining in his play. Budda Baker's not. Well, will he? We'll see. Budda Baker still right now is putting crazy numbers up right now. Budda Baker is still him. He's still doing a fantastic job. Doing a fantastic job. So, I mean, a lot of these games, I mean, we only got blown out 3 times at the end of the day, right? It's just, hope is lost, man. Hope is lost with me. We got, is it Tomateo? Is that right? Tomateo? He says, they would have to win all 4 games remaining and win a playoff game to change my mind. There you go. There you go. Now we got some expectations there. It's the first expectation I've seen all darn day. First expectation I've seen all darn day. No, we're not in the playoff hunt anymore. It's done. It's cooked. We're cooked. And here's the thing, right? We've heard. Here's the thing too. Like Jonathan Gannon, I would hope he shows a little more emotion, right? And this is for my own personal preference. I'm not saying fire him because he doesn't show emotion, but this game was a big game. Seattle was a big game. They broke us. We were broken. It's like that scene in Batman. Is it The Dark Knight Rises? When that guy was like, what does he say? He was like, I'm in charge. I pay you, or something like that. And Bane puts his hand right here on the guy's hand. He was like, do you feel in charge? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what it was with the Seahawks. The Seahawks literally wiped the floor with the Cardinals. They're like, you thought. Division? You thought. Do you feel in charge? No, we're not. Jonathan Gannon needs to give us a little bit more. Give us a little bit, man. This was a must-win game, and we didn't take advantage of it, right? The only really emotion that I'm seeing that's not pouty emotion is Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson's a real one, man. Mac Wilson wants to win. This is what Mac Wilson had to say after Sunday's game.
I'm sure it was just conversations about what we could have done better. You know, I'm sure I was talking to a lot of guys. You know, some plays out there I wish I could have back. You know, I'm sure some plays out there, some of the offensive guys which they can have back. So it's more so of that. You know, we gonna stay connected as a team because that's who we are, and you know, we're just gonna keep working.
What has gone wrong these past 3 games?
I don't really know. You got to watch the film and judge that yourself. I mean, you know, some things obviously we all got to work on. You know, offense, defense, special teams. You know, but you know, we just got to keep working. At the end of the day, you know, that's what it all boils down to. You know, keep working, keep your head up, and just keep grinding it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing that he's saying that I haven't already said in multiple podcasts, right? The Cardinals need to get better. They need to get better. Now, he threw everybody in there. He said defensively, special teams, and offensively. First, offensively, he said. My main focus is on the offense. Can the offense figure it out? You got 4 games to figure it out, right? And that's the thing. Like, even if they figure out in this 4-game stretch, that doesn't mean it's going to go ahead and translate into next year. We're all hoping that it does. I'm hoping that we get an easier schedule next year because that kind of seems to be the highlight of what we got going for us. But I mean, history usually teaches us what this Cardinals team can accomplish, and history's not been very kind to us at all. It's not been very kind to us at all. So right now, over $100 million to spend next year with the cap space that we got. Let's see if Monty Ossenfort can change my mind in free agency, and where we stand right now in the draft is the number 16 spot. There's a lot of 6 and 7 teams right now in the NFL. So the Cardinals lose for any chance of the imagination to the Patriots. then we probably might shoot up somewhere in the 12 to 11 range when it comes down to the draft picks. Now, do I think the Cardinals will lose against the Patriots? I don't know. Don't try to ask me for my prediction nowadays. I don't know what this team could accomplish. I really don't. I'm just gonna wait, sit back, and see what they do. Hopefully, offense changes my mind. Hopefully, in these next 4 games, we can actually finally figure it out, because that's kind of all I got going for me right now. Truly, it's all I got going for me right now. Victor, what's up, Victor? Victor says, no passion from Gannon. The physical football team is gone. Buddha, Mac, and Connor are the only ones playing hard. I kind of feel the same way too, man. I kind of feel the same way too. When it comes down to like the physicality of being what the brand of football this was, the physicalness, right? Did you take the bus? Do you have fire in your gut? I mean, Jonathan Gannon should probably have fire in his gut, because we're not playing with fire, man. We're not playing with fire in the gut right now. It's far from fire in the gut right now. So we got to go back. We got to go back to what it is we're getting out physicaled in the trenches, especially in those Seattle Seahawks games. But Kyler Murray wasn't pressured a lot in the what is it called, the Vikings game. He was pressured in that last drive or two. They got their first sack. I mean, sorry, he probably was pressured, but he didn't get an actual official sack until that last drive. Like, Kyler Murray, for the most part, like, was doing pretty good in the pocket. Just we couldn't get touchdowns. It was field goal, right? It's always kind of something. It's always kind of something with this offense. Back to the Constitution says, we're done. What gives you hope? This is how I feel too, man. This is how I feel too. Ivan says, we need help 2025. Yeah, no, we do need help. I mean, the good thing is that we got the money. We'll have to kind of wait and see how it all works out. Can we move divisions? Can we get out of the West and go back to the East? That would be ideal. Just kidding. We're stuck in the West. There's nothing to do here. But I mean, it's how much longer does it take for our quarterback and our wide receiver one to get on the same page? How much longer, right? One more year? Because I fear we give this one more year, because we got so much money to spend and we got the draft capital to obviously supplement some money. And I just fear we're right back. Not winning the division, and don't even think about Super Bowl. I fear it, man. Something in my gut's telling me. Something in my gut is telling me. So the year 2, people, I appreciate the optimism, but I'm not there with you. I'm not there with you. Especially if we continue to bring the same people that have not been able to progress within their career year in, year out. Claymore in the chat says, if you can't see that Gannon is gaslighting us, I don't know what else to tell you. You think he is? I mean, there was one specific, and I didn't get the clip. There was one specific question that was asked to Jonathan Gannon in the tail end of the interview, where he was talking about the offense. I think he was talking, or he might have been talking about the quarterback. I'm not sure he even made a face, but like, I don't know. He might be. He might be. If he's gaslighting us, thank God. Please, gaslight. Please. I just don't know what I don't know what this team is. They love to speak in riddles, man. Like straight up, like, Bruce Arians was my favorite head coach. He was my favorite head coach. He told you the way things were. He told you the way things were straight up, right? I feel like right now, even the fact that the question was asked, like, what we can do to try to pick up Kyler Murray, right? Or not we, I'm sorry. What Jonathan Gannon can do to try to pick up Kyler Murray because of how down he was.
Who's into kind of picking him up?
Like, you're never going to hear a question like that to Bruce Arians. You never would. What? They got to pick themselves up. They're competitors at the end of the day. I ain't going to pick yourself up. If he is gaslighting us, I hope so. I sure hope so. If he can't see what we see, then there's a big problem. Then who's next on the hot seat next year? Then we're right back in the same situation, because you're right. It does seem like a little bit of a gaslight. It does. It really does. It feels like we're getting gaslighted a little bit. I hope he is. I hope you're right. Because if you can't see what we're seeing, then we're in a heap of trouble. We're a heap of trouble. I don't listen to JG anymore, just BS. That's funny. If we lose the next game and the division is out of play, they should bench Kyler Murray and give the backup a shot. I don't see them benching Kyler. That's the problem. I think what they want to do is they want to get as much wins that they possibly can, and they want to look back and say progress. I think that's what they want to do. They want to look back and say progress. I think that's the goal, and they want to make Kyler's stats look a lot better than probably should be. So I don't know. I mean, the Patriots. Let's see what happens. I'm going to continue to be doing the live stream, the live play-by-play, but we're pretty much just fighting for progress at this point. 4 games left. Not a good feeling. There's still, like a 5%, 6% chance the Cardinals win the division if everything goes right, but everything needs to go absolutely 100% right for you to even be there. Cardinals aren't going to win the division, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to break your hearts and break the news. They're not going to. Cardinals need to go 4-0. That's the number one hurdle. Can they do that? We're 0-3 right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're 0-3. We're 0-3. Richie says, bro, Clayton Tune is in the future. And I feel the same way, too. I think he's just saying put the backup in because maybe draft position. I don't think he's saying we're going to win games with Clayton Tune. Maybe he's just saying draft position. So in that point, if you're low in the draft, then you start considering things, right? But that's probably where it's coming from. I don't think he's saying Clayton Tune's going to win us games, right? Especially if you're bringing him in the last 2 games. What are you really fighting for then? Like, what are we doing here? I don't think they're going to bench him. I think they're going to keep riding with him as long as he's healthy because, like I said, with what we're looking for is progress. That's what we're looking for. John, what's up, John? Mike, I appreciate the honest and the on-point analysis. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, John, and I appreciate you, man. You know how many times from year 1 to year now, right, or year 1 to now, I've been called a fake fan. I don't care, dude. And most of the people that call me fake fans are like 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. If you let that affect you, you probably shouldn't be doing what I do. You know the truth. You know how long you've been a fan. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys. I always am. Was I a little hyped up when we were 6-4? Yes, I did. But it came crashing and burning the moment we can't win those big games. And I don't know why we have confidence in terms of why it's going to get better. $100 million to spend. That's why we're feeling excited. That's why we're feeling confident. Monty Ossenfort hasn't had a good a free agency at all. He's had 2 good pickups in 2 years. Kazir and Mac Wilson Sr. That's it. So we're putting a lot of hyped up into next year. And I'm not even sure this free agency class is going to be that great, to be honest with you. So we're excited about $100 million when there might not be some really good free agents to even pick up. So like, what are we really excited for? We're going to be rebuilding in the draft here at the end of the day. What's more important to me is to bring back Buddha and to get in front of the whole Trey McBride situation. Sign him, bring him back into the team, give him a long-term deal. I think that's a lot more important than bringing in some scrub that probably get hurt in week 3 or week 4. So I'm always going to be like this. I'm always going to be real. It's the way it is, man. It's the way it is. Michael C in the chat says being 100% negative is not being real. I mean, opinions, right? Opinion is opinion. Opinion is opinion. At the end of the day, your opinion is not what I share in my opinion. So your truth is my truth is my truth. I feel like this is my opinion, and I'm putting it out there. I'm sorry for the people that think I'm negative. Go back and tell me where this negativity started. I was as positive as it possibly could be. Where were you at, Michael C? Where were you at when I was being positive and praising me for being positive, right? Where were you? You can't keep being positive when you know things are hitting the fan. You can't. I was being positive all year, week 1 to week 13, up to week 14. I was as positive as they come. I was a happy clam. But you got to call it like it is. Got to call it like it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can't hide. You can't hide from it. Hide from it. Run from it. Just like Thanos said. I think he says, what does he say? Something about everything, it comes right back to me or something like that. Yeah, let me get that quote real quick. Dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or I should say, I am. It's what it is, my guy. It's what it is. Hopefully you're right. I really do. I hope you're right. I hope I'm just being a negative Nancy, and you can come back and prove me wrong. Do that, Michael. Come back and prove me wrong and tell me I told you you were. Oh, please do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me eat crow. Let me eat it. I'm ready. I'm ready to eat the crow. I'm ready. PGZ, what's up, man? He says, you're not being negative. You're keeping it real. Here's the thing. I appreciate you. And PGZ, you're a Seahawk fan. I found out that more people support you from other fan bases than your own organization. That's what I found out. Most people that support you are from other organizations that see what you see, but everybody's blinded to the fact that they don't want to see it because you're being too negative, because you're not being too positive. It all comes back, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, I hope you're right, Michael C. I hope you're right, and this Michael is incorrect. Please come back if I'm incorrect and tell me you're wrong, Mike. You're wrong. They're going to the Super Bowl next year. They won the division next year. Please come back. I really appreciate that. I want to eat crow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be closing up shop right here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody that super chatted in. I'm sorry to break some people's dreams out there. I don't mean to. Huge shout out here to Ivan, Jonathan, Arturo, Emmanuel, Andrew, John, PGZ. Thank you so very much, everybody, for super chatting in. But let me give you a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two. That's going to be using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. Of course, bet responsibly and bet within your means. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be closing up shop right here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in as always. Again, let me give a huge shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat that make this channel the way that it is. Do me a huge favor for everybody that's currently here on the YouTube side. Smack up that like button. Do it for the algorithm. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. I appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. You guys are the real ones. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals.